to win the day. I'm Tanika D'Souza, the 100K challenge chick. And I'm talking about something that is super important because I think a lot of us get tripped up on, should I be building my business online, offline? What should I be doing? And what I'll say is you definitely have to be a certain age to be asking this question, because all of my younger clients literally are just building online business. They understand that that's a world they know, but I still teach them the principles of building offline. So if you're asking this question, it's likely because you've done other things, you know the value of building offline. And for those of you who aren't very familiar with building offline, I'm talking about literally the networking, trade shows, parties, conferences, referrals that happen not necessarily as a direct relationship to social media. So building offline is important, building online is important. So where should you start? That's what I'm diving into today. So thank you for joining me. As I said, I'm Tanika D'Souza, the 100K challenge chick. My entire purpose is to help people build their business revenue to $100,000, right? I want you to figure out what it takes to take your idea. And most people come to me when they like have an idea, they know what they want to sell, as far as a service, a coaching program, a course, whatever it is. And I help them define that, refine it, fine tune it, and get ready for that visibility stage, which is what we're talking about here, building your business, building your clientele. So that's the work that I do. The easiest way to work with me is in my membership group, the 100K Society. That is group coaching. Outside of that, I also offer one-on-one coaching, and you can contact me to discuss that. So now that that's out of the way, let me tell you something I did, and I think this will help us understand the building online versus building offline, right? So here's what I'll tell you. You have to do what you're comfortable to do, because when you are operating way too far outside your comfort zone, what you portray to your potential client is awful, right? So for example, I had the 100K Society. We meet on Monday evenings, and we were talking, and this was the topic at the very end. It was like, so should I be doing this all on social media? Because basically my client was saying, I know how to do this offline, but how do I take this online? Like, how do I take what I was doing offline and translate it for online? And my response to her was, you have a tight time frame to finish and to really start rocking and rolling with this project you're doing. Stay offline. Now, we can produce some things as you're doing it, testimonials and things like that, that she's going to share online. But right now, she knows how to build and grow offline. And I'm going to encourage her to continue doing that and making the money that she wants to make. Not all the money isn't online, all the money isn't in social media. It's everywhere, and you just have to commit. The thing that'll happen though is a lot of us feel like, oh, I have this project, I want to launch this, I'm definitely going to use social media. But then you're spending all your time trying to figure out how to make social media work, that you're not focused on your client. So what it appears is just you doing a bunch of stuff trying to make yourself comfortable, and what's being ignored is the value for the client. So I want you to work in your comfort zone. It absolutely is my job as your business coach to push you and to teach you and to educate you so that you can effectively operate both ways. But I know myself, most of my business is referral. I do operate online, but I am extremely comfortable offline because I started as an entrepreneur 14 years ago, running a bakery. Nobody was online, so I had literally had to show up to deliver these cakes, get to know the local country clubs, get to know the venues, because those were the people who had these wedding clients that I wanted, or these party clients that I wanted, and I wanted them to know who I was, taste my product, and be able to refer me. So I understood what boots on the ground what that means, right? So I still do a lot of that today. Everywhere I go, I'm talking, I'm referring people to me, but then I refer them to look me up online. So that's kind of the difference. But I still operate primarily from my strength, which is meeting people in person, and I still get the majority of my business through referrals. So here's something that I did that you're going to say, how is that related? Did she really just press to tell us about her adventure? But my adventure was buying a car. I wasn't expecting to have to do this. I knew it was coming because I did sell my car like a month ago. But I was super excited to not have a car note. So we were just on one car, my husband's car, but we both work from home. Um, we didn't have a lot going on, and now it kind of pushed us into a place where there is more going on. We can't rely on his vehicle. I needed to have a vehicle. So we go in to the dealer. I already knew I was not buying a gas car, so that was off the table. So I'm choosing between hybrids. Basically, I just went in looking for a hybrid. Well, the dealer was super smart because I was home, my husband was not. So the dealer picked me up. I don't live very far from the car dealership. And he picked me up in an electric car. It was so new, had every tech spec and safety feature that I could ask for. But I had never experienced the electric car. So he picked me up, and then I was able to drive it back to the dealership and see some other cars. And then the other car that I really was looking for that they had, it was actually in a showroom. So I couldn't drive that one. So he brought a different vehicle for me to drive. What I ultimately ended up with is a choice between a hybrid vehicle and an electric vehicle. What I'll tell you, just to make this story short, I chose the hybrid because it was something that I was used to. I understand how gas works. Like, I understand that if my car needs to be filled up, I go to the gas station. If my car needs service, I get an oil change. Like, I understand how to work with that, but I appreciate the hybrids because I also get a battery, and that extends um the MPGs on my car, right? So here I am being all old talking about the MPGs versus all the like fun, cool stuff about my car. But that's what I wanted. My son is about to go to college. He's playing college football. I want to be able to make it to games. That is a 200-mile trip. So that means 400 miles to get there and get back for games. And I want to be able to do that without stress. And this hybrid vehicle I purchased can give me a range of about 600 miles to one fill up. So I'm happy, and it's an SUV. So I got the space that I wanted, the features, the safety, all of that, and it's hybrid, which I understand. Now, here's how this is related to building your business online versus offline. Is because I was introduced to electric. Now, I'm not completely being introduced by that one car ride. I've done some research. I know about electric vehicles. I totally care about the environment and going green, but I wasn't comfortable owning an electric vehicle. Like today, I am more comfortable, but when I had to make that buying decision, I was there looking at a hybrid and looking at an electric car. Now, the electric that I was comparing it to was smaller. So that did make a difference for me because I do want the space. My kids are teens and adults. So I want to make sure that everybody can fit in the vehicle comfortably, and all my stuff because I got to go, tailgate at football games. So I wanted the space. So I was going to lose some of that. However, I just didn't really understand what went into maintaining an electric vehicle. So I made a decision that was going to make me comfortable, that I could sleep at night, that literally I can make this decision and just move on with my life. If I had purchased in the mindset when I went shopping, if I had purchased that electric vehicle, I would have been nervous about it. I would have been spending a lot more time after purchase, still researching, learning, all this stuff, consuming so many things so that I can be a comfortable user versus just I bought it, time to move on to the next thing. And that's what a lot of you do with your business, right? You focus on the thing you don't know, you try to grab that, and then when you don't understand it, you're spending all your time focused on yourself and building your business that you're not focused on your client. And that's what I don't want you to do, right? So today I made a decision. I purchased a hybrid. I was comfortable with it. I know, I get it. I'm still going to be at that life. I've owned hybrids before. My husband literally had a hybrid. It was part of our fleet of cars, I'm going to call it that. We had a delivery service with our bakery. So that car literally had, like, I don't know how many miles on it. So I understand hybrid. I knew the challenges it would have, which really he didn't have very many. And while he had that hybrid, I had a gas engine and I was constantly doing stuff with that gas engine. So I knew I didn't want that again, but I didn't know all the details of the electric. So here's the funny part. I buy the hybrid. My sales guy is great. So he's like, "Yeah, come back. I'll help you set up the thing, connecting my phone and setting up all my user stuff so I can really get the full experience out of my car." So I go back and I tell him at that moment, "Yeah, I was really choosing between this car that I purchased and this other electric vehicle, but here were the things I was really concerned about." And he says, "Oh, yeah. So yeah, charging it, like, literally you didn't even need a new a plug. Here's the thing. He literally went and got this small case. It was like, it was definitely bigger than this box, right? But it was so small. It was a small case. That was the plug. It literally was a three-prong plug that goes into my house. So I didn't have, because I was thinking, if I buy electric, I gotta get an electrician out here. I gotta get this big pad thing. I gotta get stuff hooked to the wall. I don't plan to stay in this house too much longer. So then how do you transfer that somewhere else? Like, I was just thinking way too detailed about this, and it kept me from getting it done. So he showed me this small little pack. That's where I would start. Then he showed me these different units that I could buy to go on my wall. The cheapest one was under $1,000. The one that most people get is about 1,000. And then there was this bigger one that was 2,000. He showed it all to me. Yeah. So when I realized, oh, I could have chose that other car, never have to go back to the gas station, and literally can just charge my car every night, and that's the end of that. Like, so my next vehicle will be electric. My husband already knows he's going to buy electric. But here's the point. I made a decision based on where I was. That sales guy was absolutely capable to sell me a gas car, a hybrid, or an electric vehicle. And he met me where I was. When I was able to better articulate the questions and concerns that I had, or he understood what they were, he educated me so that I can then understand electric. In the case of building your business, when you are comfortable on social media, use it. Use your business coach to help you optimize where you are until you understand how to do other things. There's money to be made no matter where you are. So don't worry, like, oh gosh, I haven't mastered Instagram, so therefore I'm not going to make money. Not true. People make millions of dollars everywhere. There's tons of companies that still make a lot of money and they don't use social media as much. So any preconceptions, things you've made up about how you must build your business, it's not true. So I want you to start with where you're comfortable, and I want you to learn about other things or learn how to transition yourself. Like my client that I was talking to yesterday in the 100K Society, she's going to build offline because she knows how to do that. She actually sells products. She hosts parties. She does do those virtually. She does host them through Facebook and Facebook groups. However, she builds these relationships with people offline through her church, through her job, through connections. She literally picks up her phone and talks to people. something that's kind of old school, right? So that's what I'm saying. I can teach her then, okay, so what are the main things that you cover? Let's create that as a flyer and then we'll post that on social media. But it's to help her make the money right where she is and then introduce her to what she can do and how she can translate that to be more social media friendly. So stop overthinking what you know how to do. I have other friends who are in business and they're like, oh, I have to be doing 4 reels a day and I have to post 7 times a day and I have to do this to grow my followership. That's great. And as long as you have really great structure and strategy in place, because just growing isn't the answer. You want to grow a client base that is going to buy from you. I built my online presence when I wasn't totally clear. And I realized when it came time to try to sell something to that group, it was not the right group because I built it on all this stuff people told me I should be doing. The numbers were flying up. I literally was like celebrating 100 new followers, 100 new followers. We hit this 1,000, we hit that 1,000. I did all the specs all the way up to about 12,000 on my business page, built the group out of that, built that up to at least 2,000. And then I realized these people just liked a couple things I said. They weren't really my ideal client. I built this the wrong way. Let me start over. In the meantime, I never lost talking to people, meeting, using my phone, using my contact list, using my networks, right? So that's how I am still able to be in business, make money month after month, even if you don't see me doing 20 reels and posting 7 times a day. So start with what you know and focus on your customer, focus on your client, what they need from you. And then as you learn, you can make different decisions in the future. So that's what I have for you guys. Building your business online versus offline. Ultimately, the answer is both, but start in the place where you're comfortable, maximize it, get crystal clear on how to use what you know how to use to the best of your ability to really maximize your sales and just get that done. Come to your business coach, say, this is what I'm working on. So you have that person who is able to help you crosswalk from one thing to the next. You guys have a great day. And for all my 100K Society members, what's up? I'm being silly. You guys have a great evening or day. Bye.